Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a really long time since I filmed a sit-down video that isn't a wrap-up. So today we're just gonna take it easy. It's gonna be more laid back and we are going to analyze my reading. So I know this will not be a video that everybody's into, so you have my permission to click off if this isn't what you're about. But I've wanted to do this for a really long time, just for myself, and then also because I thought it would be fun to do as a video. So what we are going to do is I have all of my favorite and 5-star horror books, and I am basically going to try to find similarities in them and group them into different categories so that I can figure out what common themes these books have, so that I can get a better idea of what things I really like in horror, what my favorite horror books have in common. You guys get the idea. So I'm gonna show you guys my screen. Yes, we are doing this on Canva because where else would I be doing it? So you guys can see kind of the spread I'm working with. Most of these are 5 stars. There are a couple 4.5 and 4 stars that are in there that are just ones that really stick out in my mind and that I would call a favorite horror book. So where to start? I think there's one obvious category that I kind of know that I like about myself, and that is possession horror. So possession horror, we have obviously my best friend's Exorcism. We have Come Closer by Sarah Gran. I had Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. Obviously that's a classic. Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. You guys know it was one of my top books from last year. I cannot ever shut up about that book. Let me see, are there more possession horror in here? I don't think so, but we can come back to that if I missed anything. We're gonna start another box now. And I think another thing that's a standout for me is weird horror. Or things that kind of have a fever dream sort of quality to them with the writing and the different subject matter, I guess you could say. So for that, okay, obviously we have to put in fever dream, because how can you have a category that's about fever dream books and then not put the book Fever Dream in there? Comfort Me with Apples, I feel like definitely fits into that weird category. There's quite a few. This Thing Between Us by Gus Moreno, which BT Dubs is my favorite book cover of all time, at least last time I checked. I really love the cover for that, so I'll pop it up big so you guys can see. Let me know if you guys have a favorite book cover. What else fits into that weird quality? Bunny definitely is fever dream and weird. Cabbage, I would say, also fits in there. There's really a lot that I could put in this because I love to read weird little horror books. We also have A House at the Bottom of the Lake, which is very strange. Oh my god, there's so many, I feel like. Helpmeet, that's a weird one. That's an underrated one. If you've never read this book, do yourself a favor and go read it, because Angel said to. The Haar is definitely weird horror. The Bell Chime, I feel like, could also go in this category of just being weird. And I'm gonna put Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke in there as well, because that's definitely a weird story. Okay, let's move on. Let's start another box because that one's getting way too full. Something else that I really like in books is when they have some sort of commentary or social commentary, anything like that that's trying to kind of get a message across about certain things. So we definitely have a few in here. Any Man by Amber Tamblyn definitely has a social commentary about rape culture and sexism and things like that. I feel like Tampa could kind of be put in the same category as Any Man, with the kind of role reversal view. The Reformatory by Tananarive Due obviously has a lot of commentary about racism and abuse, horrible things happening to children. Grey Dog has some feminist undertones, so I feel like that fits into the commentary bracket. Oh, I forgot one in our weird fever dream category. Our Wives Under the Sea, a very strange book, but very good book. Let's see, we're gonna start a new category. Something else that I know is very big with me when it comes to reading is non-human things or strange entities being in the woods, coming out of the woods, creatures in the woods. Let's just call it that. Creatures in the woods. Because I feel like that sums it up very well. So Grey Dog is gonna go into this one as well. Some of these books are gonna overlap. Stolen Tongues is definitely like the OG. I feel like that's the one that freaks me out when it comes to that category of things. And The Trees Crept In is a little YA book that most definitely, maybe not creatures in the woods, but just creepy woods in general. Near the Bone, it's not, I don't think it's like technically in the woods. I don't know if it's like a really wooded area, but there's definitely a creature in there that is a freaky part of it, which is really fun. Devolution by Max Brooks, obviously it's Bigfoot coming out of the woods. That's a little scary. There's also Lone Women that I want to put in this category, not because it's a creature in the woods, but because there's just a creature in it in general, which I really like. So it's going there. Maybe we should change the name of that category so it's not just creatures in the woods. Maybe it could be creatures, creatures and the woods, okay? We're gonna leave it there. House of Hollow, I think, is a good one for this category. What Moves the Dead is a good one for this category. Head Like a Hole has me stumped because I think it could go in the weird horror category, but could we also arguably put it in the creatures category? I don't know. I think I'm gonna add Natural Beauty to our social commentary category because obviously there's a lot of talk about the wellness industry and the beauty industry and things that people do to be beautiful. Okay, this next category is gonna sound strange, just bear with me. We have fucked up shit involving kids. Which, like I said, sounds weird when I say it, but I mean that in the sense of like a group of kids playing a game, one of them accidentally dies, they cover it up, a group of kids, one of them goes missing when they're younger, just like weird shit that happens with kids. So you could look at Mr. Magic and talk about, you know, this weird freaking TV show that this group of kids is involved with. Boys in the Valley obviously involves a group of kids dealing with demons and possession. House of Hollow deals with children that have gone missing and then have come back from being missing. Whisper Down the Lane with this satanic panic whole ordeal is a really good one for that category, I feel like. Something else we could do is a TV or a movie element, I guess, because I feel like there are definitely a lot of books in this spread that deal with that type of thing. Obviously, horror movie by Paul Tremblay. It's right in the title. Mr. Magic, a TV show. A Head Full of Ghosts, I think, can fit in that category as well because that also involves a TV show of sorts. Episode 13, obviously, is about filming a show. Another favorite of mine is when the horror is very subtle and leaves you feeling like more unsettled than really scared. I think there's a few things that I could put in here. Obviously, I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. I think that's in my top 3 books of all time. I really have to, I feel like I should narrow down and come up with a top 10 list or top 5 list of all time, but I think that's going to take some work. I'm thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, Call Me By Your Name, and then I'd have to think on another one for that. It's totally off topic. Another Ian Reid. We could also put We Spread in here. It's not in this layout, but it could go in here because I did give that one 4.5 stars. Ian Reid, I think, is just like the king of unsettling weird shit. I think Our Wives Under the Sea could go in here because it's not like over the top in your face horror all the time. Moon of the Crusted Snow as well definitely just unsettles you throughout the story. It does build up to something bigger, but it's not like a huge, once again, in your face type of thing. We can also do This Thing Between Us because that is definitely like very quiet and subtle for most of the story. I feel like my weird horror fever dream category, I don't know if we should split that up into 2 because I feel like there are so many that fit into the weird horror category. But then there's only a few that also cross over with like the fever dream type of quality. So maybe we'll make that 2 separate ones. So let me change this one just to weird horror. So all of these books are going to stay in there, but we're gonna add some more. Where are we gonna put them? I have no clue. Okay. And Then I Woke Up definitely has to go in there. That book gives me like John Carpenter's They Live, but like backwards. Which isn't gonna make any sense unless you've like seen that movie and then also read that book. Maggie's Grave, another David Sodergren. There are so many. Head Like a Hole is definitely freaking weird. And I think I will put that in the creatures category as well because, I mean, it's kind of a creature for the big, like, part of the story. Also, for weird horror is The Book of the Most Precious Substance, which is another one of my top books from last year and probably one of my top books of all time, at least when it comes to horror, definitely. So let me make another category for like fever dream type of things. What is going on here? What in the world? Okay, I had to make everything smaller because I was running out of space, and I definitely know of at least one more category that I want to make, and that is like things that have to deal with like family trauma, familial trauma, or just like trauma in general. So okay, we're just gonna leave it at trauma. I feel like that's such a weird like name for a category. Near the Bone by Christina Henry, definitely there's some trauma in there. The September House definitely has a lot of familial trauma, which I like. We could put Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke in the trauma category because there's definitely, I feel like, a trauma bond sort of happening there. Crossroads by Laurel Hightower I would put in there as well. This has turned out to be harder than I thought it would be. I'm going to add some stuff to our social commentary category. So there was just one that I was looking at that I was like, that needs to go in there. Tender's the Flesh. Brother by Anya Alburn. That's a perfect one for trauma, familial trauma, fucked up families, I guess I should say. Maybe that should be the category. Adding Intercepts by TJ Payne into our weird horror category. I really like that one. It's so small because there's so many books in there. See, what has me stumped though is there are a few that like I don't know where to group. The Troop by Nick Cutter, Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. Like I don't know where to fit those in to any of these. I don't know if they really do fit in. Actually, The Troop can most definitely go into fucked up shit involving kids. I don't know why I didn't connect that sooner, so let's do that. I think we could possibly put Ghost Eaters in social commentary. Not like, it's definitely not on the level as some of these other ones, but there's definitely like commentary about grief or about addiction. Maybe we could have a grief category because they're, off the top of my head, we have The Fisherman, we have Ghost Eaters. Are there any other like grief involving ones? Cabbage. Okay, we're making a grief category. I think maybe this will be my last category for today, but this is definitely something that I want to like keep up with. Obviously, as I find more horror books that I enjoy and more 5-star horror books, I definitely want to come back and continue to update this, add new categories as they come. So I don't know, you guys will have to let me know like if this is even interesting to you, because it's interesting to me, but it's also more difficult than I thought it was going to be. We're gonna ignore the fact that I misspelled grief at first. I always do that with that word. Like, I don't know why. I always, like, I know how it's spelled, but I always put the E and the I backwards every single time. And I don't know why. Are there any other grief ones in here? A Short Stay in Hell touches on grief. It's definitely got an emotional side to it. So, oh. Let's make these smaller. Oh, no, I don't want to duplicate it. And really, I think the only one that we haven't put in the category is The Girl with All the Gifts, which could arguably be in fucked up shit involving kids, but like it is fucked up shit involving kids, but it's not in the way that like I view it when I think of that as something that I enjoy, because this is just like kids that are zombies, and that's just like how they are. They're just zombies. They're born zombies. Versus like going through some sort of accident or something that turns them into zombies. That would be a totally different story. So I don't know where to put The Girl with All the Gifts. So maybe that'll be one that I'll just have to come back to and add in here as I add more categories. For now, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. So now I know a little bit of some things that I'm definitely into. Weird horror, I've already known. I love my weird stuff. Possession horror is kind of a newer thing that I'm learning that I enjoy. So if you guys have any like good possession horror recommendations, definitely let me know. I love my social commentary. I love creatures, and I love when those creatures are in the woods or just anything with creepy woods. I really like. Fucked up shit involving kids, which I've overly explained myself about. TV/movie elements is not something that I was expecting before going into this, so it is interesting that I was able to group together a few of those. So maybe that's something that I'll have to look out for in future books, because it's something that some of my favorite books have in common. Subtle and unsettling horror I already knew I really love. Also alongside that fever dream quality where things are just very strange. Trauma and fucked up families I love. I eat that up, just like grief, which also could kind of overlap with trauma and fucked up families. But things that rely heavily on the themes of grief I really enjoy. So we're going to leave it there. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this, if you would be interested in seeing me come back to this and add more books and add more categories. Let me know. If not, I totally get that, but I think it's a fun thing to do for myself. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys next time.